Good afternoon. I'll turn first to two decisions relating to requests for provisional release. In the Popovic and others case, the appeals chamber on Tuesday dismissed Ljubomir Borovčanin's appeal of the trial chamber's decision to deny him provisional release, which was rendered on 7th of October 2010. Borovčanin had requested a 10-day provisional release to visit his ailing father. Considering that his father's health is stable, the appeals chamber found that there is currently no acute justification for releasing Borovčanin. Presiding Judge Robinson gave a separate opinion, dissenting in part and concurring in the results, while Judges Liu and Vaz gave separate opinions. Borovčanin, former deputy commander of the Special Police Brigade of the Republika Srpska police forces, was sentenced to 17 years imprisonment for his involvement in the July 95 massacre of Bosnian Muslims in Srebrenica, Eastern Bosnia and Herzegovina. His conviction was not appealed by either party, and he is now awaiting transfer to a state in which he is to serve the remainder of his sentence. In the case of Micho Stanšić and Stojan Župljanin, a decision was issued last Friday denying Micho Stanšić's request for provisional release. Stanšić's defense had requested that he be released temporarily to Belgrade from 1st of February to 17th of March to be able to cooperate with his team, which will be based there during the break in trial proceedings. The trial chamber ruled that Stanšić's request should be denied due to a lack of compelling humanitarian grounds that would justify provisional release at this advanced stage of trial proceedings. On to a separate decision, also in Stanšić and Župljanin case, the registrar yesterday granted Stojan Župljanin full legal aid for his defense, having found that the accused does not have the means to pay for the costs himself. And turning next to the courtroom schedule, closing arguments on the case of Perlic and others concluded yesterday, and the hearing adjourned until further notice. Journalists will be notified as soon as the chamber has announced the date of the judgment. In the case of Vojislav Šešelj, a Rule 98 bis hearing will begin next Monday, 7th of March at 2:30 in Courtroom 1. Rule 98 bis of the Tribunal's Rules of Procedure and Evidence provides that an accused may file a motion for a judgment of acquittal on one or more offences charged in the indictment after the close of the prosecution case. After hearing the oral submissions of the parties, the trial chamber can enter a judgment of acquittal on any count if it finds that the evidence presented by the prosecution is insufficient to support conviction. The prosecution has been granted 4 hours and the accused a total of 3.5 hours to present their arguments. Another Rule 98 bis hearing will be held in the case of Jovica Stanšić and Franki Simatovic from 7th of April onwards. I will remind you of it closer to the time. And in the case of Milan Lukic and Sredoje Lukic, a status conference will be held on Thursday, 10th of March at 3 o'clock in Courtroom 3. On 20th of July 2009, Milan and Sredoje Lukic were sentenced to life and 30 years imprisonment, respectively, for crimes against humanity and war crimes committed in the eastern Bosnian town of Visegrad during the 92-95 conflict. They are currently in detention at the United Nations Detention Unit, pending appeal. The last status conference was held on 11th of November last year. As to the ongoing cases in the trial of Radovan Karadzic, the chamber is currently hearing the testimony of Mehmed Music, who was a resident of the village of Musici in the Hadžić municipality of Sarajevo. He is speaking of his plight and that of the other non-Serbs held in detention facilities across the municipality, and of the beating and disappearance of 47 detainees from Hadžić. Mr. Music previously testified in the trials of Slobodan Milošević and Momčilo Krajišnik. And in the trial of Zdravko Tolimir, the testimony of Edward Joseph, former UNPROFOR Civil Affairs officer, will resume this afternoon in the Courtroom 3. He is the 88th witness to be called by the prosecution since the start of the trial on 26th of February last year. Office of the Prosecutor.
No statement from the Office of the Prosecutor.
Any questions? No? Thank you very much.